Hey y'all, welcome back to All About April. Today's episode is going to be focused on a recent book release. I'm talking about This Could Be Us, Soledad's story. Look, I didn't really know what to expect whenever I hopped into this book, but from the prologue, I knew that Kennedy Ryan was going to take us on a ride. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. When I read Before I Let Go, I liked it, but I definitely did not move me in the way that it moved a lot of other people. But this book, all the flowers, okay, all of them. And I believe that Soledad's story is extremely special. I believe that it is going to have so many people talking for a long time. I also believe that book clubs, friendships are going to be engaging in very, very good dialogue regarding this particular book. Now, before I really hop into it, I want to challenge you to be open-minded in regards to this book. Now, if you follow me on Instagram and you are TikTok, I've mentioned this. This is not a traditional love story, but it is a very, very special love story that is significant for all of us. So, without further ado, let's hop into it. Kennedy Ryan starts us off in this prologue where Judah, the main male character, he and his ex-wife are negotiating some things in regards to their two autistic sons. And I really, really found that to be beautiful because a lot of times whenever you read books where people end a partnership, it is not amicable. But they are able to realize that although their marriage doesn't work, they are still able to be great parents, great co-parents to their two children who deeply need them. And I just thought that was so moving to begin a book in that way, knowing that these kids have needs, but also two people committing to doing what's best for their kids, but also for each other. So as the book continues, you get to see Soledad's story. And Soledad is facing some challenges because she realizes that her husband has been dishonest to their marriage, to his children, and also to his job. And Soledad is left facing so many things. She is left picking up pieces, especially when her husband goes off to jail to face, the crime that he has committed. And in the midst of this, one of the people who is, behind exposing some of this is Judah. But Judah also has his eyes set on Soledad because why not? She is everything, especially for someone who, has realized what did not work with his previous wife. But for Soledad, a relationship is really not on her radar at the moment. This is a woman who has lost everything. She's lost her husband. She has not worked for years. Her home is about to go under. How does she pay her car note? It is really a mess. But what becomes of her is so beautiful. And this is what I really and truthfully enjoyed about this story, especially the fact that Soledad wrote this story intentionally for us to be able to see the beauty and the significance of community. Now, if you have been following me and my YouTube channel, I talk about community a lot in books. It's actually one of my favorite themes to discover as I'm reading. But Soledad is able to get by because of her friends Yaz and Hendrix. And I actually have chills thinking about it right now. Friends who offer her money when she ain't got it. Friends who offer to pick up her kids from practice and school. Friends who offer to help her as she embarks on this social media journey. Friends who do not judge her despite everything that is happening. Her world is falling apart. but most importantly, friends who support her as she tries to figure this thing called life out. And for me, reading this book was so moving because I know a Soledad. Or for many women, you may have been Soledad, where you are left picking up the pieces. You are left answering questions to your children in regards to their father, who they still love very deeply. But you can't answer the questions that they may have, despite them still loving him. But for you, still as a woman, trying to hold a smile, trying to keep everything together, not knowing how the pieces are going to come together, and yet she still stands because of this community who has decided to not let her fail or fall. And as I read this particular part of the book, I was immensely moved because we know Soledad, as I previously mentioned, but there are so many women who cannot leave because they do not have that community. They also do not have that shared space where they feel comfortable in leaving because people are going to judge them. They don't have a place to go. People don't have the resources to be able to give them because what the friends do is a lot. They don't have people to help them with their children, so they're left in these situations that truly leave them in a spot where they cannot survive. And I just felt that it was so powerful for her to be able to build that kind of community amongst these women, but to also show us exactly what it looks like when we are able to do it successfully. I will also say that, as Soledad embarks upon her social media journey, I really, really enjoyed the part where she read All About Love by Bell Hooks. I absolutely love that book. Y'all can never make me hate it. I don't care what y'all say. I believe that it is definitely an important part of the self-love journey. And not only did Soledad decide to read it as she embarked upon this social media journey, but she also encouraged or influenced Judah to read it too. Remember, this is a single father who also needs to learn how to, love in different ways, but he was just so patient and kind with her. And so often we undermine the significance of kindness in others. But I really, really appreciated that Judah understood that Soledad, despite everything that she had gone through, she did need that space to learn how to love herself again. And for Kennedy Ryan, I felt that she did such a great job in this story of reminding us that we also deserve the love that we so willingly give to ourselves. And that was what this self-love journey that Soledad took, it showed us. But the people on social media also going on these solo dates and realizing that they too can live lives where they have to start over despite what has happened, or even just learn to love themselves despite the challenges that life presents to them. It was oh so beautiful. And despite all of this, she still has to face the fact that her ex-husband has committed the ultimate betrayal, and yes, he faces a punishment, but there are still things that he is not fully punished for. But as we all know, with healing, there are some things we realize, like that punitive part is not on us to be able to delegate. And I found it so significant for Soledad to do what was necessary to revive herself and not focus on that particular part. Because when you're focused on revenge, it is very, very easy to not see the future in front of you or to harm yourself in the process, which can prevent you from actually growing in the ways that you may need to. But as mentioned, before, she had such a strong foundation in her friendships and in her community, and even with what she built with her social media following, that you just could not help but love this book. Or I will say, I could not help but love this book. And as I've stated, like, there were so many parts of this, but I just kept thinking of women I know, or how I've been in situations and people have stood in the gap for me whenever I needed it. And that is something that we need to see in books. Yes, we read erotic romance and, soft romance and other things, but we can't forget about how significant self-love is for ourselves. So, ultimately, Judah and Soledad figure out how to be able to make things work. And yes, it takes, a minute for it. But y'all, that's what typically happens when you are on a self-love journey. It is not something that is going to be immediate. It is not something that is going to happen in an instant. So if you're an insta-love person, this book is not going to be that way for you. But I challenge you to find beauty in the journey of Soledad truly finding herself, her community rebuilding her children loving on her, and Judah being patient with her as well as all of this story comes together. So look, when Judah showed up to the little fair event, I was all in for it because I just felt like he was definitely showing interest in who Soledad was and what he ultimately wanted. He was definitely, showing interest. But again, y'all, I absolutely loved and adored this story. And I hope that you have an open mind to what Kennedy Ryan has done with this. And I challenge you in your book clubs, in your friend groups, to not just read this book, but to be the community for our friends and our families who need that from us. Because that shared safe space is so important, especially right now. I will tell you, on TikTok, there are plenty of women who have been sharing why it is so significant for women to have their own accounts, for women to continue having a work history on their resumes. These are things that Soledad faced, as she was going through her divorce and ultimately, her self-love journey. But having those safe spaces is also important for us as women so that we can feel that we are still something in this life. So again, please, please, please be open-minded about this. I love this book and I get to meet her within the next few days. I'm so excited about it. And y'all, I'm gonna post after I meet her, but I really, really hope that the message of this book comes across to others the way that it came across to me, at least that part, because I just found it to be so special and worthwhile. So thank you for embarking upon this journey with me, as I hope you embark upon this journey with This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. If you have already read it, please let me know in the comments how you felt about it. If you have not read it, do not miss out on it, because I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna be talking about it on TikTok, they're gonna be talking about it on Bookstagram for a whole lot of time. So you may as well just go ahead, jump on a journey, read it so you can be included in the conversation. But yes, I do believe that it will be worth your while. So again, thank y'all for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all later for the next video. Bye, y'all.